Fallout New Vegas is one of the greatest games of all time. For many- Wait. Fuck. Wrong script. Shit. Give me a second. Fuck. Okay, Destiny 2, right. That's this video, since it's the only game I've played the last few weeks. Today I want to talk about this game, as a longtime Destiny 1 fan, since Destiny 1 was a big part of my childhood, and how the game feels the new players starting the game in the year 2022. Because this game does some things really, really well, and some things god awful. So I guess I should start with why I'm bothering to make this video. Well, I have failed at making every other idea I had for a second video, and I've been playing Destiny 2 the last few weeks nonstop. So fuck it, I'll talk about this game. I started playing Destiny 1 when it was first released in 2014. I played the beta with some friends and bought it day one. I was in love. The gunplay, the design, the online aspects, it was my kindling for my love of MMOs. But I stopped after Destiny 1 ended. I didn't really bother going back when Destiny 2 dropped, since at that point I moved on to other MMOs. A good friend of mine introduced me to World of Warcraft, and that became my new addiction. But that leads us to many, many years later. My girlfriend mentioned wanting to play Destiny 2 again, and I had nothing to do until patch 6.2 for FF14, so I said fuck it, and gave it a shot. And what I found was the game was some of the most fun and unique gunplay and activities, but also a massive void of never-ending objectives thrown at you with very few signs of what you should prioritize. So let's talk about that. So, to start, I want to talk about a few things I love about Destiny, because despite its huge amount of flaws, I love it. I love playing this game. So Destiny has 3 classes: Warlock, Titan, and Hunter, Titan being my favorite by far. Each class has a lot of unique aspects and playstyles to them. Titan being a tank with some strong DPS and support abilities, Hunter being your selfish class full of mobility and high DPS, honestly they don't have much in the way of support, and Warlock being the most support, and having a lot of healing and buffing abilities. That being said, all the classes are strong enough to have utility to really carry a group, and clear content with a group of just that one class if you really wanted to, though I'm not going to recommend that. Each of the classes has 3 archetypes as well, 4 if we count Beyond Lights added later, but we're not going to get into that, that's not important. And each have different utility options like grenades, supers, different special unique abilities that each class has, like Titan's Shield or Hunter's Little Jump. As that's not even getting into the added customization, not counting just from being your class. That is stuff like your armor mods, your weapons, and even just the way you want to look. This game lets you look pretty snazzy if you know what you're doing. You got the right shader on. All this, combined with the amazing gunplay, like, seriously, this game feels fucking amazing. The guns have weight, and they feel so solid. It feels like upgraded Halo gunplay, and I personally just adore how Halo feels. And it should be known that this game has a lot of guns, and it actually feels like there's a purpose for there being so many. All of them feel very different. You can have 2 of the same like 2 different shotguns, and they both feel very different from one another. They're not just the same gun with a different skin on them, they have a different feel when you pull the trigger, and I really, really like that. This is why all players seem to have their own favorite guns in this game. I have quite a few. No Time to Explain, Monte Carlo, Gallarhorn, and whatever the hell that ice laser gun I have is called. They're all sick as fuck, and they are comfy for me to use. They are my favorite. every Destiny player has their favorite gun. It's a fact, and it makes the game cool. Every Guardian plays a little bit differently, and I adore that freedom when you first start playing the game. You feel limitless. You can play with whatever you find fun, and that adds to the fact that this game has so many different forms of gameplay. Free exploration zones, dungeon-like strikes, crucibles, which is a PvP game mode where you fight other players, Gambit, a part PvP, part objective-based PvP game mode where you're trying to kill the enemy team, but also trying to kill a boss before the enemy team. And when you get a good grip on the game, you can do harder content. You can do things like raids, nightfalls, which are weekly changing strikes with added modifiers and difficulty. Hell, if you love PvP and you got good at the game, you could do high-rank, super sweaty, competitive PvP like Trials of Osiris or Iron Banner. And let it be known, this is just scratching the surface with content. There are multiple storylines to play through, where you learn more about the story, and earn some sick exotics, and a 4th subclass. They also have Lost Sector as a form of daily high-end content to get powerful gear, so I know what you're thinking now. Holy shit, Vale, shut the fuck up. We get it, there's a lot of content, what's your point? Well, I'm fucking getting there, don't you fucking interrupt me again, or I'll fucking break your legs. So, let's be real with ourselves. This is a lot to do. And as much of a plus that is, I mean, you want a game with a lot of content. And sure, I agree. But Destiny sometimes feels like you're drowning in shit to do. Like, let me run you through when you first start the game. You're a new light, a new hunter, just getting into the game. And the game says, hey buddy, try Vanguard Strikes. Hey, try Gambit. Hey, unlock your 2 other subclasses. Hey, try Crucible. It's really fun, I swear. Hey, you could do the current expansion storyline. Hey, do the new item crafting system we just added. Hey, do these like 4 exotic quests we just thrown at you that are confusing as fuck. Hey look, if you do 8 bounties for each NPC every week, you get a cool piece of legendary loot. Hey, make sure you do the season quest to unlock the power to do literally any endgame content. You don't know what that is? Oh, you didn't watch a YouTube video before you started this game. Go do that. You see why we have a problem here? Most of these are also hours long, multi-part things. The game showers you in shit as a new light. It's a lot to take in. I had to watch multiple videos to figure out what was worth it doing and what wasn't. It's a lot. It's a never-ending spew with shit to do, with no real hint at what is most important. Destiny has a lot of fun things to do, and I want to be clear, I have barely scratched the surface talking about the different content in this game. Like, seriously, don't sit here and say that the couple things that I just talked about are all this game has. There's shit that I haven't even tried yet in my couple weeks of playing. Sometimes, though, it's just hard to figure out what is worth doing. I found myself doing shit I didn't like, just to get a quest out of my journal, and it made me kinda grow to hate the game. It kinda took me to look over at my girlfriend. They just kinda do Gambit and strikes for shits and giggles. No care for getting meta guns or for clearing hard content. That made me like the game a bit more. Destiny is not a good game for competitive play, at least in my opinion. I'm sure there are competitive players out there who have a great time. I just personally think it's a great casual game. I'll get more into that in a moment, but listen to me when I say, if you try this game, take it casually. Just enjoy the cool guns, the fun fights, and the decent PvP, because endgame is a fucking void. Alright, sluts, let's talk about endgame. In small bursts, it's really fucking fun. but you also start to see the depravity and pain of the Destiny 2 meta. So let's fucking get into this, because I'm kind of annoyed and want to go monkeys bananas on this game. So raids, they're crazy fun, and for what I've played, you know, I've done like a bit of the Dreaming City and I did Vault of Glass, but crazy fun. I've been also watching videos on the other raids, and Bungie is great at making fun mechanics that they can combine with the fun gunplay. The harder difficulty versions seem alright too, but the other forms of endgame are painful. So let's go back to what I said earlier. The game has a lot of customization, but every season, which is about 10 weeks, the meta shifts to heavily focus on specific things. So, last season was all balanced around Void subclasses, since they were remaking the Void subclasses, and they wanted to force people to play them. And any of the other ones were just kinda weaker, since all the special armor mods you get from the season are built around you playing that subclass. This season it's all solar subclasses, so the other three are really weak compared to the solar options. The same goes for guns. Take me doing a Lost Sector the other night. The game has 3 special boss types: Barrier, Overload, and Unstoppable, and fuck, this pisses me off. So, every season, a few weapon mods are available to deal with each of these enemies. For this season, your options are: for shield enemies, you can use sidearms and pulse rifles. That's it. For overload enemies, you use SMGs, auto rifles, or trace rifles. Or solar grenades. Ha ha ha. See, solar classes with more options. It makes things really fun when you don't like the solar classes. Like me. And for unstoppable enemies, you can use scout rifles and glaives. So, the problem with this is, as cool as this is, I mean, you get to make new builds based on the challenge of the current piece of content, and it stops the meta from getting stale. The issue is, though, sure, if this didn't happen, Destiny 2 would have a meta where everyone uses the same few guns. But instead, this just means that for 10 weeks, every player uses the meta SMG, the meta scout rifle. Just uses the few best guns of that specific subclass. And while this isn't an issue for casual content, because you can still just use whatever weapons you want in casual content, these 3 boss types don't show up. It just feels really shitty to not be able to use the weapons that you actually like. If you want to farm for exotics, and this is really annoying when the game customization and freedom is supposed to be its strong point, I think Bungie has a smart idea here. They don't want the meta to get too stale. But also, forcing players to use gear and subclasses they just don't like isn't what I would recommend. It would be like if in FF14, even though I love Warrior, if in the next patch, Warrior was really bad, and you were just better off in almost every way to play Paladin, it would suck. Because sure, the people who like Paladin would be super fucking happy, but for everybody else, it would just feel shitty. And I want it to be clear, this isn't just coming from me talking as someone who just started playing the game. I have been lurking and talking in the Destiny 2 Looking for Group Discord server. It's a massive fucking server. And I just talk in Destiny chat, their little general chat basically, about the game. And a lot of players agree. This shit's fucking annoying. They don't like it. People want to be able to use the guns they like, and they can't. They want to use the subclasses they like, but they can't. I've had multiple people tell me, hey, why are you playing Void Titan? And I would be like, oh, well, Void Titan's supposed to be the tanky one. Then they laugh. Because they're like, oh, you sweet summer child. You're just more tanky and do more damage as Solar type. Just play Solar type. And I sit there like, but I don't wanna. I like Void Titan. It's fun. So I want that to be kept in mind. This isn't just my thoughts from my limited playthrough of endgame content and my watching of endgame content. And I wanted to also be clear, this doesn't really apply for raids, at least to my knowledge. I haven't seen the newest raids, but raids don't usually have these enemy types, these 3 like boss enemies. It's mostly lost sectors from what I've seen, with a few things like Nightfalls also having them. Keep that in mind. Alright, bitches, so let's get this shit done. Time to sum shit up. Destiny 2, if played casually, it is a really, really good time. Hop on, find some cool guns from playing whatever game modes you find fun, and just kind of vibe. It's when you try to play the meta, it gets sort of frustrating. Because you are sort of pigeonholed into using specific guns and subclasses, and it gets infuriating when, let's be honest, we just want to use our favorite stuff. And not whatever Bungie decides we should use for that season. Keep the system where we use armor mods to get special effects on guns to deal with champions. That's sick. It gives armor mods more uses, and it makes us make a pre-made loadout for content that locks our loadouts. We still have to plan around champions, burn effects, what exotic effects we think would be most useful, and instead of trying to make meta guns unusable by forcing us to use specific weapon types, maybe just rebalance guns to be less or more powerful. Really make more variety that way. Besides, at the end of the day, most Guardians I meet, unless they are day 1 racing raid clears, they mostly just want to use whatever gear they find most fun. Because at the end of the day, that's what players care most about. They want to have fun. Either way, Destiny 2. It was a great way to spend a couple weeks while I wait for the new Final Fantasy patch. And hey, I will most likely come back when I finish shit in 6.2. But with that, I'll probably disappear for a few weeks because I got a lot of shit to do in FF14. Expect random streams and maybe some low effort FF14 content if that's your thing. Stick around. I don't fucking know, I guess see when I find the energy to do something more high effort. With that being said, I don't know if I'd call this high effort. I kinda just wanted to throw a second video out there before I go on my trip and then come back and I'm playing FF14 because I'm gonna be real with you all. I'm gonna go back into my FF14 addiction. You might not see me make a proper structured video like the Fully Cully one for a little while. We'll see though. I don't know. Maybe I'll be hit with a struck of inspiration and I'll be doing this again soon. This video is meant to be a little bit less structured. I had my script, but I was kind of just wanting to go off and be a little bit more free, a little more loose. I don't plan this for every video. I want to do a little bit more structured shit, like in the Fully Cully video when I actually analyze stuff. I just didn't have the energy for it this time. I just wanted to make something fun and quick, and hopefully if you don't play Destiny, maybe you want to try it out. You know, it's still a pretty fun game. And if you do play Destiny, hopefully you got a little chuckle out of either watching me be bad at the game in the background footage, or what my funny words made your brain go, hee hee, that girl has funny word being said in funny way. I don't know how to end this video now, so, goodbye, my little gobbledygoos. I will see you when the end times are a-comin'.